Sup guys, I'm Kel, Red Zone Rogue, and welcome to another Force of Will strategy video. Keep in mind that these videos are made with the intent of inspiring you guys to go out and make your own dank builds. But if you don't care about any of that crap, there is a deck list in the description down below. So this time you might be curious why I have 3 decks here, and that's just because I want to go over a couple things before I delve into the deck. The deck we're going to be looking at today is this Nine-Tailed Fox deck. All 3 of these decks are for Wanderer, and I built all of these after the recent bans and unbanning announcement for the Wanderer format. My brewer's mind was like, set into motion, and I came up with 3 really sweet decks. The Fox deck isn't super unique. It doesn't have a whole lot of unique cards in it. It's just my favorite deck in Wanderer right now. It's my pet deck, I guess you can call it. I've pimped it out quite a bit. And these other 2 decks, I would say, are fairly unique. We have this Xion deck and this Vlad deck, but it's not really a Vlad deck. It's more of a Odin Spinning Myths deck. And I have these out right now because I want you guys to let me know if you'd rather see the Xion deck next or the Vlad Spinning Myths deck. So yeah, just let me know in the comments, and whoever gets the most replies, most comments on it, I will do that one next. But rest assured, I'm doing both of these in the future anyway. So let's get on to the main event. So the deck for today is my Lilius Petal, the Nine-Tailed Fox, or just my, Nine-Tailed Fox, Uber Fox deck. Like I said before in the little intro, this is my favorite deck right now. It's kind of a mid-rangey deck with, Pumpkin Witch out of the format. It doesn't have that, crazy burst potential, but I've been playing with it quite a bit, and it's still really strong. I mean, you still get some pretty sweet resonators, out of nowhere, and there's still some pretty cool stuff you can do. So yeah, let's take a look at the ruler first. If you don't know, this is Lilius Petal, Agent of Salvation. He's a ruler human. He has a judgment of 0. He has an energize of a wind or a darkness, and that's all his ruler side does. But we don't really care about the ruler side all that much. We mostly care about his J ruler side, the Nine-Tailed Fox. So as you can see here, it's very difficult to... hold on. It's very difficult to read the Uber. It's very, shiny. Here, let's get it close up. It says we can banish a Wind Resonator, a Darkness Resonator, and a Killing Stone. And then you get to search your deck, removed area, and or cards you own from outside the game, our sideboard, and it's always from the sideboard almost, for a Wind or Darkness Chimera Resonator, and put it onto your field. Or if you search the deck, you shuffle the deck. And then you can rest him to shuffle target card named Killing Stone from your graveyard into your Magic Stone deck. So yeah, you're probably already very familiar with the Nine-Tailed Fox. He's a very popular ruler in both New Frontiers and Wanderer. He's one of my favorite J rulers right now. He's not super broken, but he still is really powerful. I like him quite a bit, and the fact that he's my first Uber kind of influences that a little bit, but I digress. Let's get on to the Magic Stones. So the Magic Stones that I run for this deck are pretty simple. I just run 4 Killing Stones. Obviously, they're the bread and butter for the old Nine-Tailed Fox. 4 Magic Stone of Black Silence, and then just 2 Magic Stone of Gusting Skies. And I'm only using this one for one specific card in the deck. I'm basically splashing light. It's mostly just a Darkness and Wind deck, and because of that, it actually has a lot of consistency in regards to playing Resonators on time and getting the things that you need to get done. So yeah, I like that quite a bit, and yeah, not much else to say. Alright, so first up we have the Resonators in the deck, and Resonators are 30 out of 40 of the cards in the deck. I separated these 2 together because the Monkey Trap in Life and good old Rasputin are kind of the same card. They're basically the same card. They are both a 100/100 Darkness Resonator for 1 Darkness. I guess I should put this one here. And when they die, you can return them back to your hand for a loss of life. For the Monkey Trapped in Life, you have to do it. You just return it to your hand and you lose 100 life. For Rasputin, you get to choose whether or not you do it, but you lose 200 life instead of 100. I'm basically running 3 monkeys and 2 Rasputins just because the monkeys lose less life, even though it is mandatory, and this one is a choice of 200 life. The choice does come into effect, every now and then with all the darkness, or not darkness, but all the burn decks running around in Wanderer. But yeah, I mean, any combination of this, I've been recently considering running more Rasputins, maybe 1 more Rasputin or something, because I find that I need these a lot more. These are definitely kind of a card that I like to mulligan for when doing my mulligans with this deck. So next up I have my Tiny Wind Resonator draw package, and Basically, what these do is just, they're small dudes. They only cost 1 wind, and when you play them or when they die, you draw a card. So what Tama does, you're probably already familiar with this, but I'll go over it real quickly. When this card enters your field, you draw a card, and you can banish it to deal 200 damage to target Resonator. It's very, very good fodder for good old the Nine-Tailed Fox. And recently, I've added in the Divine Bird of Ataraxia because while unlike the just straight-up familiar of Holy Wind, which is the exact same thing as this, except you have to pay a wind and it deals 300 damage instead of 200. The Divine Bird you get to draw a card on death. So let's just go over it really quickly. So it's a 100/100 for 1 wind. It has flying, which is actually super relevant. It has inheritance, which you can just pay 1 wind and you discard it to draw a card. And it just says when this card leaves your field for a non-field zone, draw a card. So you get to draw a card when it dies instead of when you play it. That's kind of a downside, but the huge upside here is that it has flying. And then you can chump block flying Resonators and or J-Rulers because Prisya is actually common in Wanderer these days. You know, true Beastmaster Prisya. And being able to chump block her once if they don't have any burn spells to remove this guy is actually really relevant. Could save you, you know, a lot of time in picking up your Black Moonbeam from the sideboard or something like that. So yeah, that is why I run the Divine Bird over another familiar with Holy Wind type card. So basically, Gretel is the only ramp in the deck, but she is incredibly good at it, especially because she can flip over a Killing Stone. And that's what you, like, got your fingers crossed. Every single time you play Gretel, you're like, please hit a Killing Stone, please hit a Killing Stone. So yeah, Gretel's kind of a no-brainer in a Nine-Tailed Fox deck that runs all Wind Stone. Next, I run 2 of Glinda the Fairy, and I actually had a full playset of her in the deck at one point, but I took 2 out for another card that we will go over later that actually I'm really liking right now. So this card is probably, I wouldn't say underrated. A lot of people who are keen on Wanderer understand how good this card is, but let's just go over her really quickly. So she is a 500/500 for 2 wind. She's a Fairy Tale. She has an Enter ability. It says target Resonator cannot be blocked until end of turn. That's right, so when you play her, when she enters the field, you can make one of your dudes unblockable, which is awesome, smashing in with a big Chimera like Amit or something, getting in that 1500 damage. It's actually really relevant. And she has a second ability, if the camera will focus. It says, banish this card, cancel target normal spell unless its control pays 2. Anyway, yeah, I love Glinda. She is a really cool card. And, yeah, I mean, I really love the promo art too, so it's got that going for it. Next up, I run a full playset of Abdul Alhazred, Poet of Madness. And this is just like kind of like a Wanderer staple now at this point. It's such a good card. It's really good against other Nine-Tailed Fox decks. It's good against Lumia, like Reanimator or Hook-style decks. It's good against, man, all sorts of decks. So, yeah, Abdul is just a fantastic card. And he's just a 600/600 for 2. Like, if he's not useful to you against your opponent, then you just, you know, get rid of him and summon up a Chimera. So, yeah, Abdul is kind of a no-brainer for this deck as well. So next up, I run 2 Shade Envoy of Darkness, and this is the card that I cut the Glindas for, and I'm really liking it. Shade is a really sweet card, and because of the fact that you can recur your Killing Stones and that they count as Darkness Magic Stones with the Fox, then it makes his Resonance ability even better. So you basically can like summon him infinite times if the game is super grindy, which is really good. And he is, well, I guess I should go over him if you don't know what he is. He's a 600/400 for 2 Darkness. He is a Spirit, and he says, banish this card. This card deals 600 damage to target J Resonator, and you gain 600 life. That gaining 600 life actually isn't too bad. It can like be really helpful in certain situations, and that 600 damage can kill your opponent's Abduls, which is actually really, really relevant, because you see a lot of Abduls these days, at least I do, because I run up against a lot of Dark Alice and other Fox decks. So I really like Shade quite a bit. I might even consider running another Shade. And then, like I said, he has this resonance ability, man, words are tough, of a Darkness Magic Stone, and you can pay 3 Darkness, and if you do, camera's trying to focus in on Wukong there. If you do, then you can put this card from your graveyard into your hand. So basically, you can keep recurring it. Because of the fact that the Nine-Tailed Fox lets you shuffle a Killing Stone back into your Magic Stone deck, you can basically just keep doing it over and over again if the game gets really grindy. Probably shouldn't be that grindy, but, you know, just in case, I think this card is fantastic. I also run a single Zero the Magus of Nil. I see a lot of Fox decks running a singleton Zero these days. It's a fantastic card. It's a 700/500 for 1 of any and 2 Darkness. It has Quick Cast, and it says, enter, Resonators your opponent's control, gain -200/-200, and lose flying until end of turn. That's super good. That's super good for a bunch of different situations. It's good against your Feathsing Turbo type decks, the Feathsing World, the Alice World type decks. Blows up all their little elf dudes. I'm sorry, I knocked the camera. Blows up all their little elf dudes and any of the smaller stuff. It's good against other Nine-Tailed Fox decks, blowing up their Monkey Trapped in Life and their Tamas and all that stuff. It's a really good card, and you can knock out all the flying and then, like, you know, block and stuff. So yeah, good card overall. I just run a singleton because you don't really need more than one. But yeah, it's still pretty good. And I do have another way in the deck to actually make use of this effect more than once. And that's probably going to be the last card I go over, but I think it's a pretty spicy one. So I also run a couple Lilias Petal's Assistant. I mean, this card's just a fantastic card for any Fox deck. She's a 500/500 for a Wind, a Darkness, and one of any. She's a wizard. And she says, when this card enters your field, put target Wind or Darkness Resonator with total cost 1 from your graveyard into your field. Basically, you'll always pick a Divine Bird of Ataraxia or a Tama, Familiar of Holy Wind. I'm getting really tongue-tied in this episode. But yeah, it's a pretty good, it's like, makes a Chimera in itself, because you have her, and then you get another dude. And you can just pitch them both to get a Chimera. So, I mean, good stuff. I don't know if the new Lilias Petal from Echoes of the New World is better, the new Lilias Resonator. He might be, but I haven't tested it quite yet because I haven't gotten my boxes yet. So I will definitely check that when the time is, you know, when I get them. So yeah. And then last but not least for the Resonators, we have Nyarlathotep the Usurper. This card is so good in Wanderer. It's so good. She costs 2 of any and 2 darkness. She's a Cthulhu, 800/800. She has Incarnation, which is actually super relevant. And basically, for our intents and purposes, it's going to be 2 Darkness Resonators. Basically, you can banish a Darkness Resonator and then banish another Darkness or Fire Resonator instead of paying her cost. So basically, it's going to be like a Monkey Trapped in Life plus a Abdul or a Shade or something like that. Which is an enter ability. You may look at target player's hand, choose a card, and they have to discard that card. This card's awesome, especially if you can get one of their like crucial combo pieces or one of the cards that really makes their deck tick. You can do that quite a bit, actually. So, yeah, Nyarlathotep is a fantastic card. Probably the second best Incarnation card in the entire game after Adam Brawley. Still trying to focus on Wukong. Stop it, bro. Get your face out of here. But yeah, great card. Alright, so next up we have the spells, and I'm starting it off with a full playset of Stoning to Death. This card's very simple. It is a chant instant, which means it has quick cast, for 2 darkness, and it just says destroy target resonator. It's still the most efficient removal spell in the entire game. Once again, I have not had my booster boxes of Echoes of the New World yet, so I haven't tested Heteroclite Excalibur yet. I think it could be a good contender for this. I might remove 1 or 2 of these for Heteroclite Excaliburs, but for now, Stoning to Death. So the only counterspell I actually run in the deck is a full playset of Zeke's, the Ancient Magic. And this card is super versatile. It's a fantastic card, and I actually run it in a multitude of my Wanderer decks. You will see in the videos to come that one of the decks that I talked about today as well also runs a bunch of Zeke's. So basically what it does is that you get to pick one of 4 things, unless you control, if your J-Ruler is the little red, the Fairy Tale, but we're not using her. So it says target resonator cannot be targeted by spells or abilities until end of turn, or cancel target summon spell, or resonators you control gain +200/+200 end of turn, or target player shuffles all Magic Stone cards from their graveyard into the Magic Stone deck, and shuffles all the other cards from the graveyard into their deck. So this has a whole bunch of different abilities, and they're all actually pretty useful. You can make this so one of your dudes can't be targeted, pretty good. You can pump up your whole team, also pretty good. You can cancel one of the resonators, probably the most used ability on this, but it's still, yeah, really good. And then you can also shuffle all of the cards in your graveyard into your Magic Stone deck and all the other cards in your graveyard into your deck. So once again, pretty good at getting back all your Killing Stones. It's good at pumping your team, saving your dudes. Yeah, Zeke's, not much else to say. It's a fantastic card. And finally for the main deck, I run 2 of Dream of Julia. And this is the whole reason why I am splashing light. And this card is fantastic in this deck. It is so good. So basically what it does, it's a chant instant. It basically means it has quick cast for 1 of any and 1 light. And it says, if you control Juliet of Hope and Romeo, blah, blah, blah. We're not doing that. You can choose 3, but we're just going to choose 1 of the 3. So we can either destroy target addition, not entirely irrelevant. It can come up. We can draw a card. We can remove target resonator from the game and then put it into the owner's field. And that's the one we're going to be using most of the time. basically lets us remove one of our chimeras and have it come back and get its effect again. We can remove the Zero, have her come back and get the effect again. Even Gretel if you really need it. So there's a bunch of different things you can do with this. Dream of Julia is actually a really, really good card, and I love it in this deck. Alright, so that was the main deck. Let's go over the sideboard. So I'm going to go over the sideboard pretty quickly because the choices are fairly obvious and they don't really need a whole lot of explanation. So I run a full playset of the Griffin Racing Across Darkness. I mean all the Fox decks run him. I run only 2 of the Manticore. I know some decks run 3, but I found 2 is a pretty good number. I also run 2 Amit, once again, pretty good number for Fox decks. I run 2 of the Keen Sense. This card's really, really good. You can cancel target normal spell or destroy target chant or target card in a chant standby area. And you come across a lot of Prison in the Lunar Lakes, so this is actually good getting rid of that. I also run a couple Black Moonbeams. I mean, why shouldn't you? There's a lot of crazy J-Ruler strategies out there in Wanderer. I mean, one that comes to mind is Priscilla, so having some Black Moonbeams just in case is always good. And then finally, I run a trifecta of Gale Force, and this is to deal with other Fox decks, as well as other Turbo decks. You know, this is like basically called Gwyber's Bane or something like that. So yeah, and like I said, pretty obvious choices for the sideboard. Alright guys, so there you have it. That was my Uber Fox deck. Like I said, it is one of my favorite decks. Okay, let's be real. It is my favorite deck. If I was going to go to like a Wanderer tournament, this is the deck that I would probably bring. I might do a little bit more tweaking if I was going to be really serious about it, but I love the deck. It's a ton of fun to pilot. It's a ton of fun to play against. I like testing against it with these other decks, so yeah, I enjoy it quite a bit. So yeah, if you guys like the video, then leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Also, let me know if you'd rather see the Xion deck or the Vlad Odin Spinning Myths deck as the next Wanderer strategy video. That input really helps a lot, guys. I will definitely choose the next one based on that input. So yeah, guys, regardless of what you do, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time for some more Force of Will content. Have a good one all, and I will see you later.